Warning, the video you're about to watch is known as an Epicsode. This means 6 episodes worth of time have been put into a single video. Prepare yourself for time lapses and building on an enormous scale. If you enjoy this Epicsode, show your support for what X does by leaving a like. Thank you.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode here on the Hermitcraft Mesified server, and we're over here at the area that I sometimes call my base, or the Ocean Monument, or the Guardian Farm. I guess it's all three of those things, but it is also a complete and utter mess. Look at all this stuff going on behind me. It needs to get cleaned up, and I've been talking about this place for some time, saying it needs to get done. And the deal is, I just don't have the time to do it. What I've realised is that this is the kind of thing that will take me multiple episodes to do. So, what I'm going to do is do all of this in one episode, but record it over multiple weeks. So you may notice stuff like changing in my hotbar, XP levels going up and down from clip to clip, and that's because this is going to take me a while to record, and I'll be doing the regular episodes in between. Now, we have a lot of work to do over here. I did actually start it and instantly got put off as I found out that I put all of this sand over by one block, which is not a good way to get started. So I'm over that now. We're going to drop the sand in the correct place. And what we'll be doing is expanding the walls of this area to make it look nice and pretty, finalising the Guardian farms, which we've already built. They're going to look a lot more interesting too, and then getting rid of the chorus farm down there and putting in a floor in this area. It's all going to look fantastic. But we will start off doing one thing at a time. We've got lots of things here to remove. We need to get this nether portal moved down and sort out some other stuff. So we are going to start off with all of this mess right here, the AFK fish farm, and this little bit here. We're going to tear it all down and get rid of that. We're on top of the world, peeps. On top of the world. Wow. Just starts raining. Whoa, that's really gloomy. I just wanted to show you the view from up here, because we probably won't get it to see it from this high up again. All of this is getting torn down. And that is it. Not particularly spectacular, just something interesting. Okay, the question is, can we land? And the answer is... It was yes, but then I went off the edge. Oh dear. Should have held down shift. Okay, so we are here to move our items down below, out of sight. That's these ones up here, and all of the ones down there, but of course we're doing these ones first so we can clear up this mess. So these are all the items that we got from doing our fishing, and check out these minecarts that I've got. Rideable name, minecart, container minecart, minecart with hopper. I don't know what's going on. That's a minecart with chest. They're all going to become minecarts with chests because we're going to put items in them. And yeah, we're going to test that this goes all the way down. Now, probably not going to fill up my inventory, or at least the chest's inventory straight away. Let's grab a whole bunch of books, but I just sort of want to do a test run together, make sure this thing goes down there, because I have just put in the rails, and it's been a while since I've done this. You know, every update of Minecraft, little things change, and some things are not as easy as they used to be. I'm hoping this is still pretty straightforward. Could have done with an extra powered rail. Whoa, that sort of looked like it teleported. Let's follow this thing down. Bam. Yes, yes, all looking very good. And, oh my god, don't die. Let's eat quickly. There might be a slime around here. And that actually worked. First time, which is fantastic. That's almost a rarity in this game. So yeah, anyway, we're going to move all our items down here into these chests. Do you know what happens in Minecraft when you try to kill a cat? You can't kill a cat. It comes right back to you. Check it out. So, job done. All of my items have been successfully migrated down here. And obviously, not much of a fancy room going on here. No need to decorate. This is all going to be temporary. Let's get out of here, though. Just need to place down a button, and always the timing. A wooden button probably would have been better there, because it would have lasted for a little bit longer. Also got a nether portal just round the corner here, and this actually synchronises up with the one in the nether, which is quite nice, because it's all the way down here, and the one in the nether is high up. Anyway, let's go up top and see what it looks like now. It's actually just a short journey, isn't it? Oh, and by the way, I had a spider sort of stuck in this area, and the minecarts were actually landing on top of the spider, which I thought was really interesting. Probably should have recorded that. Yeah, so once again, things are getting cleaner and cleaner. And this Guardian farm is going to go. This one was always temporary, and even though it's earning us drops, it's not part of the overall farm. The next thing to do is our final harvest of the chorus farm. As you well, you wouldn't have seen. I've seen all the stock that I've got because I've been moving them around. We got tons and tons of chorus fruit. The purple shop is stocked up. I don't think we have to worry about running out of this stuff anytime soon, but that means that our, I think, only chorus farm on the server is now gone. The next thing for me to do is to tear this thing out. It was always temporary. That's why it looks so ugly, because, yeah, it was a temporary farm. Well, apparently I've made a friend. And apparently I've missed a block over here as well. That's those ghost blocks. When you come back to the chunks after you've been away, they reappear. There's been a few of them around here, but, you know, the place is now opening up. And the next thing I got to do is dig downwards, because I made a big mistake with this floor. I dug it all down to a particular height and didn't calculate it correct. What I should have dug down to is 2 more blocks at this height, but I've since realised that's sort of wrong as well, because the floor that we're going to be building in this farm will be at this height here. But that's just the top of the floor. The floor itself has some bits that go lower. So I'm basically going to end up digging the entire thing down yet another 5 or 6 blocks. This time I'm going to triple check my numbers and make sure we do it correctly. But that is the next step. Again, a big change. It'll take me some time. And I'll be back when that's done. So it's all been cleared now. Many hours of work we have come down by. How many blocks was it? 7? I can't even remember. And just looking around at this place, is it me? Or does that one go lower down? Because they're supposed to be at the exact same height. Definitely goes lower down, doesn't it? I don't know what's going on with that, but okay. And you can see the farm is working just fine. We've still got some floaty chests. I need to move some items around. But yeah, everything has been lowered down. So we can move on to the next step. And by the way, one of the things that I did here is just leave the caves open as well. We'll probably patch them up later, I guess. Yeah, because there's a lot of work to patch them up. So yeah, I think the next thing we're doing, though, is placing sand in at the top. So let's head up there and do some of that. So I think now is the time where I explain what our big plan here is, because I've had a really hard time figuring out where I need to build, and then it just sort of hit me that I've probably chosen the hardest way to start this thing. So you can see there's glass on the outside here. When I pillar up, this should make a lot more sense. Now, my original plan was to build this sort of from down below outwards, and what we're going to do is build a massive giant glass structure coming out of the ground, and then build a beautiful pattern in the floor to cover this entire area. So as you can see, we've dug out this much so far, and it's going to get a little bit bigger. But what you see right here is just the top. And as this shape goes downwards, it goes inwards too. So originally, I was looking at digging away some of these walls and replacing with the glass. And that's why there is this strip of blocks on either side, because I thought I had positioned this correctly. Turns out, you know, I've done it completely wrong. And so then I realised, it just sort of hit me, the best place to start from is at the top. So there is our first layer of glass. It is 1 deep going all the way around the outside. And I guess the next step is to get the next set of glass in that's going down below. But how I'm going to show you this, I just don't know, because it's going to be such an immense amount of work. And I'm mostly going to be fumbling around underwater. So it's going to be a strange one. I don't know how this episode is going to play out. But as you can see, my ambitions here are very, very big. Alright, so many hours have passed by and lots of glass has been used. I say many hours, it's probably not been actually too much more than an hour to go around and lower the next bit down by 2 blocks and then by 3 blocks here, although the view at this point is a little bit awkward. And by the way, where I've put in all this sand, my original plan was to build this sort of from down below outwards whilst filling it in with sand, and that would have been difficult and terrible. This has been so much faster, and I'm glad I sort of reevaluated what's going on here. But we're creating this shape, which is sort of like a square with a rotated square again, because that would line up with this line over here. And it's going to go sort of downwards and inwards, but it's going to do it with a curve, and that curve is just using numbers. We go 1, then 2, then 3, and the next one's going to be 4. So I thought I would show you what it looks like when you build down here, because the glass is really interesting. It seems to get a little bit brighter as you group it together, and of course it's not doing that right now because I'm building even lower down, but when you build at these higher bits right here, I don't know, the glass just has a sort of strange property to how it looks underwater, and you can really see that when you look at it from like this sort of angle, because the blue there is very bright, and its lighting in general is just a little bit strange. But anyway, I should tell you about what the plan is next. It is to now build this section right here, this wall and that wall, all the way down to the bottom where it connects up with the sand, because I think it would be very nice at this point to remove these giant walls of sand and actually look out from within the farm and see all of the work that we've done. But we have a long way to go. We've got 4 like that, then we go down by 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll just put those blocks there. Then this one's going to go down by 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we hit the grounds. Now, the ground is obviously going to be at different heights in various places, but I've specifically dug down far enough that it will cover all of the spots where it hits the ground. So yeah, anyway, a lot of work to be done. I'm going to just do all of what I just described, and then we can start removing this sand. Well, it looked kind of magnificent a moment ago when I was up there. Then you come down here and it feels like the smallest portion of this entire area, and it feels like we're way too low, but I've got to remember that the floor is about 5 blocks up from here, and the next step for us is to now start digging into the sand. So we got 2 challenges ahead of us here, and I just realised I've got no glass with me. Now look how cool it is from up here, right? One of them is that we're going to go into the ground a little bit as we bring the glass down, so it's not going to have all of this blue directly behind it. And the other challenge is that when we dig away this stuff, the water is going to flow in, and then we need to replace it with glass. And for that, I've dug a little trench down the bottom, so it's going to knock out some torches, but then it's going to get stuck in there and not spread out. So that's sort of the next step right now. And by the way, you may have noticed it over here. Iskau delivered me some cake I actually need to eat right now, so this is very good. And yeah, there's loads of it. It's awesome. So yeah, a little present from him. Anyway, let's go pick up some blue glass. I'm going to continue doing this quarter, or corner even, all the way down to its very bottom, which I do believe is going to be somewhere around that height. Okay, there we go. It comes all the way down to around there, which is what I was pointing at. And you'll notice it comes a long way down into the stone. If we just follow this around, it gets close to the lowest point, which is over on this side, but it's actually just a little bit lower overall. And where I chose the pattern to go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that 8 makes up a big difference. So if you look at the top of it, it's going to be too high up and we're going to be left with this sand. So my plan was to terraform behind this, and originally I pictured myself sort of digging away a steady slope back. But look how high it goes in some places. That's going to be an immense amount of work, and it's all going to be done underwater. And I think what I'll probably do is just dig away the layer of stone behind it so the water can drop down and it can look a lot bluer. That might look good or bad, but we're going to save that for another time. So everything's gone pretty cool so far, I think. This is not taking as long as I thought it would. There's still a long way to go though. And what we will focus on next is doing a middle section here on this side so we can see how the shape where it pushes out will look. So that'll be the next thing we do. I will get it done all the way to this level and then bring you back in. Okay, that took a lot longer because the area that sticks out is of course a lot bigger. We have to clear out a lot more water. But it just occurred to me that I am yet to turn around and look at this from a distance. And wow, that has a very nice shape to it. I gotta say, oh yes, this is going in the right direction. I'm very happy with this, but it is going to take such a long time to get all of this. Oh my god, look at the speed these slimes move at when they want to attack. You know, over the course of the game, lots of little tweaks and things have been changed to the mobs, and I think something's changed with slimes at some point. I never remember them moving that quickly towards the player. Anyway, I mean, looking absolutely fantastic at the moment. It's so cool. I just want to keep looking at it, and I think it'd be nicer to look at it in the daytime as well. So here we are at the halfway point, and I can't help but feel we've got a long way to go still. I mean, we've got to do the other half of this, but then we've got the floor to do as well. But that's when things will really start to come together. And let's eat some more of Iskau's cake. He's been over again, leaving some more cake in the area for me, which is fantastic. But this is really starting to come together. I should probably move these chests as well. But what I want to do next is actually just gather up the last of all the glass. I've been putting a ton of lapis and a ton of glass into this. And I want to calculate how much is currently here, because we've done half.
and then make sure we've got everything that we need to do the other half, because I've been doing trips to the desert to make this happen. And what we'll probably do after we've figured that stuff out is maybe a time lapse, because building this is pretty cool, but you haven't really seen the process so far, and a time lapse is always a good way to do that. This thing, by the way, has turned out amazing, and it takes quite a long time to load up the sand. So whenever I come here, there's nothing actually happening, but what I've been doing is AFKing at the blaze farm, putting in blaze rods, and then bringing over sand, and just taking out the glass, because this entire chest was full. That one's full, and there's some over here as well. So this won't start smelting for a while. As you can see, my ender chest is full. This is sort of like all of the glass that we need to get this finished. And what happens is people come into the brown district so often that eventually this thing will fire up and start smelting all of the sands that I put in here. Look at it, loads and loads of the stuff. But yeah, this has been extremely convenient, and so when I come back like another time, all of this sand will be smelted. So I'm sort of taking the glass first, and then the sand is getting sorted out. This cake is good, you know. You get through a lot of food when you're doing work like this. In fact, that's one of those costs that often goes overlooked. You always need to eat as you're going around, and it can cost you a fair bit over time. So this is all of the glass that we need. I got some to spare as well, and I got a lot more glass than we actually needed. So all of that chest right there, and what you see in this chest, is going to make up the last of this build.
So right now, the time-lapse that you just watched is rendering on my machine. And while we look around here, I just wanted to say that Windows Live Movie Maker is really great. A lot of people put it down as a sort of basic video editing tool, but it's actually got features that some of the main ones don't have. You see, I use Vegas or Movie Studio Platinum 12, which was the Sony flagship for video editing. And it can do things that that one can't, like it can play footage on the fly very, very fast, up to 64 times the speed. And sometimes it's just great for time lapses. Whenever you do something where the footage needs to be speed up very, very fast and you want to see that live as you're editing, Windows Live is the way to go. And the best of all, it's free. I've just noticed there's a block up there. We need to go and get rid of that. If any of you out there are aspiring to be video makers, you know, you don't have to go throw your money at something expensive like Vegas. You can, well, you get Movie Studio Platinum for cheap, which is like a slightly knocked down version of Vegas, which is what I use. But yeah, sometimes the free stuff is just as good. And really, when it comes to video editing, it's mainly about the quality of the video, especially if you're doing something like Minecraft. It's about what you do in the game and what you say that's probably more interesting than how you actually edit it together. And so a lot of my time lapses are done with Windows Live Movie Maker, and you probably never know until I tell you. Anyway, it is just looking fantastic around here. I mean, every time I'm in this area, I'm always looking up just going, that looks so cool. And I think the next thing to do is now see it from the skies up above. It's time for the view that you've been waiting for. Aha, here we go. Let's get a little bit of height first, then turn to the side, and wow, absolutely amazing. All I gotta say is the choice for blue glass was perfect. The way it sort of blends into the ocean there, looking absolutely tremendous. And this thing isn't even finished yet. It's gonna look even better once we put the floor in, which is the next thing that I'm going to do, and that is going to be the finishing touch. I think it'll look about 10 times better if it didn't look good already. So let's get to gathering the resources. Hacha! Get out of my base. Yeah, let's get to gathering the resources for building this floor, because it is going to fill in this entire space, which means we need to gather a lot and lot of different materials. So an intense amount of materials is going into this floor, and so far I've got my cyan. We also need a few sea lanterns, and somewhere in here I should also have some coal blocks. There we go, we need about 20 of those, so let's just take more than we need in case we lose some of them. And we're going to need 3 stacks of obsidian as well. Again, always take a little bit more with you than you actually need, because chances are you might lose some and then wish you had have brought more. But there is so much more that we are going to need to build this thing, and I've been gathering some of the other materials in here. Once again, we are going to need an extraordinary amount of glass, so a lot of preparation ahead of us. So I've been swimming around killing squid. I've been using up our lapis and bone meal supply, and there's all the glass that's now been stained. And check this out, these are the other materials we're using as well, so all of that's been crafted up. Now I needed a lot of light grey wool and also some grey wool as well. I'm not sure if that's enough, and this definitely isn't. I think we need like 10 stacks of that. And I was over at the sheep farm, but that's good for just picking up a few colours at a time. And so I figured the best place to go would actually be to the spider farm. So I've AFK'd there for ages, got tons of string, and crafted some more wool as well. So that's a much better way of getting lots of string, because you can be AFK, you don't have to keep looking after the sheep. Anyway, there's just one more material which I've already gathered, it's clay. So I'll show you that when we get over. And now that means we're using like 2 double chests worth of materials, plus some more because I've got to make some wool. So a heck of a lot of stuff. And yeah, I'll move it over there, show you it once more, and then we'll start building this thing. Well, this works out very nicely. I had a look in my chests, and it turns out that I've got 6 more stacks of clay, which is great because I think I undercounted the amount that I would need in total. So we have just enough to make this massive floor build that's going to be added in here. And so, hi. Inside these chests you will see all the materials that we are going to be building with. An absolute boatload of stuff we're using, and also in this one I've sort of arranged them so that you can see a little bit of the colour palette that we are going for. Now we've already done one epic time-lapse in this episode, we're now about to do another one. It is finally time to build this floor. Well, 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 there you go. I have had this thing planned out for months. For months I've been wanting to build this, and it is terrific to see it all coming together. And I tell you what, when it rains, it pours is the saying. I got this wrong to begin with. I built all of the clay in the wrong position. It was off like by a couple of blocks. I say all of the clay, like a fair amount of it. So that was an unfortunate start to building this thing. And this thing is actually not finished. One of the things I haven't done at all is put any of the glass in. That's something that we got to do. And also in some of the corners here, I've actually missed a few bits out as well. So we're going to go check that out quickly. But there is so much more here to be done. Over here we're supposed to have a sea lantern in each corner, and this bit is going to be filled in with the grey wool. So the idea here is that we've got two sets of colours which match with the clay. We've got the purple, which sort of plays off the slight tint of blue that is on the clay, and then we've got the grey scale over here. So that's where all of those different materials are, and you can see here you've got your obsidian and then your coal. And sod's law, when I was going around placing all of these blocks, when it came to the obsidian, I misplaced so many of them. It just felt like I was cursed or something, because that's not something that you normally do. And I realised that this over here doesn't need to be here. I filled it all in, but I actually never got around to finishing this. So how it's supposed to go is these blocks aren't actually supposed to be here. So let's get rid of them. I think actually that one might need to stay. Is that right, or is it this one here? I think it's actually this one here. Anyway, let's get this in. So you have two blocks like that, then you've only got one there, and then you have a sea lantern here and a clay there. That is how it's actually supposed to go down in that little area. I am not sure if I like that 100%. I think this could be moved over by one, and then these two blocks could be exposed. Anyway, I'm going to go around and finish those bits up. We are going to put in some wall, as I said, some of the wall over in that area, and I quickly want to show you what the plan is for the glass. It is simply to fill in the entire thing. And did I only bring one stack with me? Because this little area right here might actually take more than that. But the reason that we're filling it all the way in is just so that it looks good looking through. You know, it goes all the way down to the bottom. Is there actually any difference now that I think about it? If there is or there isn't, what I'm going to say is mobs won't be able to spawn down there. If we only fill it over the top, then mobs will be spawning in the bit underneath. And I do have a plan for stopping mobs spawning in this area. The entire floor, I hope, will end up being a mob-proof area. So that's another thing that we're doing, putting glass. We're putting in the same colour over on this side. And we've got to check out what this place looks like from underneath, because my plan isn't just to let it be all about the top, it's to be about how it looks from down here as well. Is there a cave that we can sort of jump into? Yes. I want to be like looking up from below when we do projects down here and seeing this. This is going to be a roof as well as, you know, the top bit, but obviously you can see there are loads of little pillars left behind, things that I've got to clear up, and more digging to do below me as well. We're not going to do that though in this episode. That's just something for the future. When we're in this area, we're going to be expanding on the area underground, and then this bit up here is going to become our roof, and I think it's going to be a very interesting build. Anyway, I'm now going to go up top and do those changes that I talked about with the glass and also the wall. Those chests are empty now, and that's because I have used all of the glass that was in them and filled in all of the spaces here with glass, and it looks amazing. It now means that a lot of that is spawn proof, and the places that mobs are going to spawn is like where the zombie is right here on the clay. And the best place to see this thing is from up above. I mean, it looks spectacular from up here, and you can see that on the floor we have some big circles around where the Guardian farms are, and that's the thing that we are going to do next. But we've got a creeper spawning over here. I need to take care of him before he causes any problems. Actually, he's quite a way away from me, isn't he? Come on now. Yeah, anyway, so in the future we will be preventing the mobs from spawning on the clay. I've got an idea for that. But as of right now, we're going to focus on the last part of this mega build today, which is sorting out these Guardian farms. Aha, so what is this that we have built around the bottom of the Guardian farm? Well, I need you to use your imagination here, because this would repeat the entire way around, and as you can see, it fits into our theme as well. Now, there are so many things I want to say about this. One of the first things that comes to mind is the theme. We've got purple and blue, they're going together well, a little bit of grey in here. We don't want too much other colour coming in, and I feel like this green is a little bit risky. The shape as well, I feel like maybe doesn't fit into the rest of what's going on around here. But I've been looking at this build for so long I don't have fresh eyes, so your feedback is appreciated. And here's the deal, I'm running out of my dark prismarine, and I'm thinking there's a bigger problem I need to worry about right now, which is where I've built this. Now, what I do when I do mega builds like this is I double check, I triple check, I quadruple check. I do so many checks I lose track of all the words I could use to describe how many checks that I've done. And yet, when I come onto here, somehow, once again, something somewhere has gone wrong, and this is off by 1 block. This is supposed to be 1 block over that way. And when we go around on this side, what block is next after there? Like 1 diagonal, you can see that the cyan is in the way of where we would build. So I have built all 4 of these off, and I'm telling you, the amount of times I checked the numbers over and over again because I didn't want to make a mistake like this, it's unbelievable. So now I'm thinking, if we were to tear this down and move it over by 1 block and rebuild it, I'll do that, but maybe there's an opportunity here to do something different, because I'm unsure about this base, which would wrap around the whole of the center. There would be 4 of them in total, and then on the top I wanted to mirror this and have it upside down, leading to some sort of structure we could have up the top. But that's sort of as far as I ever got, and I always felt like the dark prismarine bit was the bit I wasn't too sold on. So we're going to leave this open-ended. We have done a tremendous amount of work on our mega build, and this is just the beginning. I've got plans to build things up there, I've got plans to build things down there, and we have done, like the beginning part of this stuff. Yeah, that is it from me this episode. Leave your feedback down below in the comment box. We'd love to know what you think of this Epicsode, as I've called it. And yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.